ride. And here we are, back again on the evening commute. It is Monday, January 11th, and it is quite the rainy, dreary day today. So, yeah, just getting ready to head home. I made the mistake of scrolling through the internet, social media on my lunch hour, and I knew I should have left it alone. I knew it. But I figured, some of my favorite YouTube creators would probably have lighthearted and fun videos to watch while I enjoyed my lunch. And then you know how you see that one clip or that one title and the image thumbnail, right, catches your attention. And you think, well, it's not going to be that bad. And then you click on it. And the next thing you know, you have just gotten what amounts to 15, 20 minutes worth of news footage you didn't want to see in the first place. It is safe to say that I shouldn't have done it. Just should have left the internet alone today. In fact, it's probably a good idea to leave the internet alone for the next 2-3 months, probably, maybe. Anyway, what I had hoped to talk about today were independent authors, those without fancy publishing contracts and big name publishing companies or fancy agents, literary agents behind them. I wanted to ask, do you read independent authors? Like, have you ever, again, while scrolling the internet, come across an author that you've never heard of, but whose either book trailer or book blurb or whatever it was that they were talking about as far as their book was concerned, were you prompted to then purchase the book? Or where do you go to find new readers who aren't part of the, quote, established literary world? I mean, if Stephen King writes a book, releases it, you're going to hear about it. Some way, some fashion, something's going to pop up that lets you know there's a new book by Stephen King, or name any of the other mass market fiction popular authors, and I apologize, I'm drawing a blank. You're going to know that this book has been published and is ready to be read. But how do you find us little guys? How do you find indie authors? I personally met several back in the day when I was heavy into blogging on WordPress. Met a number of really talented writers there who came out with books that they published either via Amazon or, at the time it was CreateSpace. I don't think they exist anymore. But anyway, they published through Amazon, or they had books that they were advertising on, what's the other one? Ooh, now, that's a shame, because that's where I first started selling my digital copies. I'll have to look that up and put it in the description. But anyway, I found several independent authors through there as well. And admittedly, I was reluctant to spend a lot of money on an author I'd never heard of, had never read. But I did take the plunge on a number of occasions, and either they were having a 99-cent sale or $1, or they were offering their first chapter or whatever for free. I would download that chapter, read it, and then find out that I really liked it. And so it would have been a physical book, paperback, that I would have been willing to buy. And like I was saying, as an indie author myself, most of my sales came from family members and friends, or I sold books at live events. I'd host a reading, or there'd be an event going on that I got invited to speak to, and I would sell books that way. But when it comes right down to it, I've never paid for advertising for any of my books. I've never done any kind of campaigning to have my book read or to sell my book to people who don't know me. So I was just curious as to whether or not I was the only person. Smashwords. That's the one I couldn't remember. Smashwords. Okay, I feel better now. So indie authors were publishing through CreateSpace/Amazon and Smashwords. I was just curious to find out if anyone else took chances on authors they'd never heard of, who didn't have traditional publishing contracts, who were basically peddling books out of their trunk. Just curious if anybody else has read or bought any books from indie authors. So, yes, I think I'm going to cut it off there for today because, again, kind of gloomy. It's starting to rain, and that means that traffic is about to go, pardon my German, to shit. So, yeah, let me pay attention to the road, and I will catch up with you guys on tomorrow. In tomorrow's segment, still haven't figured out what to call these little chunks. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. Well, hello again, wonderful YouTube viewers. It is Tuesday, January 12th? January 12th. It's actually shaping up to be a reasonable evening as far as sunlight is concerned. It is still chilly out, but whatever. That's, it's January. It's winter here in the northern hemisphere, so you got to deal with what you got to deal with, right? Global warming aside, temperatures still dip when it's wintertime, so there you have it. Yeah, so today, just to continue my discussion, is it really a discussion if you're sitting here talking to a camera alone by yourself? Yours is the only voice? It's probably not much of a discussion. Let me rephrase that. So back to talking about independent authors, as I did in yesterday's segment. I wanted to talk today about an author, a couple of authors actually, that I really, really like. I said two. There's actually three. Three authors that I came in contact with on WordPress. All three of them write in genres that I don't normally read. Two of them are science fiction, and the other one is, I'd call it a thriller, but it's more, no, I guess you can't really call it true crime. So yeah, thriller, I guess would be the word for it. But anyway, and all three of these people, I don't know that I would have ever seen, because the only place I've ever seen them talk about their writing or whatever is on WordPress. But either way it goes, we followed each other, and so would comment on each other's writing and whatnot. And then when they announced that they had a book available, well, of course, having been a fan of their writing and up to that point their blogging, I figured, what the hey. They all ran specials. In fact, I got an ARC advanced reading copy for one of the books, and then eventually got the paperback, and just wow. Like I was saying, I don't think I would have ever known about them or taken the chance had it not been for our interaction on WordPress. Like I was already confident in their ability to put words to page, and so I was fairly confident that whatever they had written I was going to like, and lo and behold I did. In fact, one of them, the book introduced me to my first ever literary crush. I'd never had one of those. Now I have had plenty of actors that you saw them in that one movie, and ever since then heart beats fast every time you see him from then on, right? And of course, when it came to singers, and of course, when it comes to entertainers in general, you know, you see somebody on the screen, and if they're hot, right? You develop a little crush, a little celebrity crush, right? But I never had a literary crush. I mean, in all the books I take that back. My literary crush, since I was a little kid, and I don't know if you consider it a crush or not, was Dracula. Yeah, I was that kid. Have been in love with the Dracula mythology since I was probably about 10. And of course, oh my goodness, I'm old enough to remember when Frank Langella, and for you youngsters, he's an actor, go Google him. But anyway, Frank Langella played Dracula, and there is this one scene in the movie where he's standing there, and of course he's casting his hypnotic spell on the young lady before he gets ready to bite her. And that look, they captured it in a poster that I had hanging on my wall for years. In fact, I'm not even sure where that poster ended up, dagnabbit. It's probably in my mom's basement somewhere, but that man with the fangs and the tuxedo and the cape and his arm outstretched, he could have bit me anytime. I'd have been fine with it, let me tell you. But anyway, so yes, okay, so I've had a literary crush, but I didn't really have when I first read the book Dracula, the classic by Bram Stoker, I liked the story, but I don't know that I really felt anything for Dracula himself. It wasn't until I got older, saw Frank Langella, really got into vampire movies, vampire mythology in general, that I fell in love with vampires across the board. So fast forward, I'm reading this book, and of course I will, once I get home and actually have the books in my hands, I'll insert some clips and things here about each one of the books. But this book, science fiction, not something I normally get down with, but it involved time travel and a Marine, a British Marine to be exact. And let me tell you, the description of this guy just brought to mind just reading his character brought to mind somebody so sexy. And I laugh because I am talking about a fictional human being here, but wow! And the way he's written, right? His sense of humor, of course, his physical ability. And I do have a thing for Marines. I don't know what that is. I don't know where I got that from. But man, just Marines. Woo, American Marine. I don't care. Just Marines, right? But anyway. So it is Wednesday, January 13th? January 13th. And we are on our way home. The first vlog I did after editing ended up being a little over 30 minutes long, I think it was. And I started looking at a lot of the creators, YouTube content creators that I enjoy. I started looking at their vlogs, and I want to say the average is about 25 to 30 minutes. So I want to keep mine right around that length too, if at all possible. So roughly 6 minutes per day. So aside from all that, I have had a headache now since Saturday. Yes, since late Saturday night, I have had a headache. And it is partially, I want to say this one's weather related, but it's been raining on and off. I guess there are several fronts moving through by, up, around, whatever. It's jacking with my tire pressure, so something's going on. But yeah, I've had a headache since Saturday, and to be perfectly honest, I'm just not really feeling it today. on top of the state of the U.S. of A politically and, of course, racially. I think today is just one of those I'm tired and I don't want to deal with humans anymore kinds of days, which kind of sucks because I'm going live in my Facebook group this evening to do a writing session, and I'll share a little secret with you here. I don't expect anybody to show. I find that is quite often the nature of writers, at least the majority of writers that I have come in contact with, is that writing for them is a very solitary activity. And I'm like that to a large extent. I don't necessarily want and or need a group. I don't need to make writing a social activity per se. So I don't imagine people will actually log in and join me. But I said I was going to do it, so I will flip that particular switch and be live in my Facebook group getting some writing done. And then based on tonight, we'll see how things turn out. If I do it again or if I figure something else out. Yeah, we'll see how that turns out. So anyway, I'm gonna keep this one short. Go ahead and log off here, and I will catch up with you tomorrow evening. So here we are again. This is Thursday, January 14th. And I don't know, I was tempted to label what I'm feeling a pity party. I've had one or two over the course of my life. And I guess this is what I'm feeling. Anyway, however it works out, the gist of my malaise, if you will, is I feel like giving up yet again, giving up on my quote business and all those dreams and goals and aspirations that I had around it. I mean, we are only 14 days, well, pretty much in the middle of the month, in the middle of the start of a brand new year, and I am already like, F my goals in terms of my business. Just F them. Just the writing, the clients, all of that. Just F it, throw it out. I'm done. I have been, and I'm using air quotes in my mind, but keeping my hands on the steering wheel since I am driving. I've been, air quote, in business for, God bless, do we always keep coming back to this 5 and 6 years? What is that? I need to consult a numerologist because this is just weird. But anyway, since I started the business, none of my goals, dreams, and aspirations for it have come to fruition. None of them. And I keep pretending that I'm working my business. I pretend very well. But yes, so I pretend to be working my business. You know, every now and again I'll actually have a client and I will work with that client, and that client publishes their book and then they go on about their merry way. And occasionally, well, I've had one client recommend me to someone else who then actually followed through with, you know, the things that we strategized that I helped them with. They follow through and they're off and running and life is good. See, and here's where the pity part of this whole thing comes in. It's like, but that's been it, right? I have not had, I just have not had what I would consider to be any kind of success or anything that's moving the needle toward recognition. And I don't necessarily mean recognition in terms of awards or anything like that. I haven't had anything happen to me that validates that what I'm doing is of value to anyone else. I don't have a fan base. I did the quotes that time because I took my hands off the wheel. Probably shouldn't do that. I don't have a fan base, right? I don't have anyone clamoring for the next book. And I haven't had. I didn't have. Which is part of the reason, a large part of the reason I think I stopped caring about writing. Well, not writing, because I write almost every day, some way, some form or fashion. But I stopped caring about publishing my work. I stopped caring about producing books. Then when it came to coaching new writers, it seems that I'm helpful to an extent, a little bit here and there, but most of the people that have initiated conversations with me around coaching, around publishing their work, I have the initial conversation. I tell them what I can do for them, and then they ghost me. I hear nothing back. I don't even know if they continued writing. I don't know if they would. I've had one or two people that I've looked up and they actually took what I told them that I could do for them, and they went and paid more money to have the same thing done. So is that what I'm lacking is validation that what I'm doing is of value and therefore I should stop? And that's something else too, is in all honesty, maybe that's just the reality of it. Maybe that's the truth, that what I do, that my writing and my coaching aren't really needed. And that's not a negative, that's not a quote bad thing. It could just be the reality. And so it could be that is the universe telling me to stop, to just shut down the business and go back to writing for my own sake. But then what do I do with this? What do I do with the vlogging and the YouTube channel? Do I just stop all of that? I could very well just stop all of that now, couldn't I? Hate that I've already paid the few $100s for the website renewal, though. Almost $1,500 on that business course. That's a lot of money I could have redirected, shall we say. Because it could very well be it is time to call it a day on that particular dream. I think I'm going to end it there because I've got to think on that one for a minute. So, all right, well, thanks for riding along. I'll see you in tomorrow's episode. Good evening. It is finally Friday, January 15th. And I am so glad to be heading into the weekend, to say the least. Let's see. Still have plans to do the indie author quick review. So that video will be coming up probably a few days after this one goes live, if I manage to stick to anything resembling a schedule. Yeah, I've got nothing. It's, like I said, it's Friday, and it feels like it's been a long, extra long week. I think I am definitely going to take it easy this weekend. So, yeah, this one's short. We're wrapping it up. Hope you guys had a good week. Hope everybody is safe and healthy and well, mentally, emotionally, and financially. And I will see you guys at the start of the next vlog.